Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Engineering Open House Kickoff. I just want to let you all know that we are all alone in our safe location, and so we will be taking off our masks for this presentation. I would like to introduce the Dean of the College of Engineering, and she is going to provide our welcome, Dr. Julia Vrass.
Thanks so much, Taylor, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Engineering Open House. We're absolutely thrilled to have you with us this evening to learn more about our programs. BT Engineering is one of the largest and best engineering schools in the country, and we truly have something for everyone. You'll find a broad array of engineering majors, small programs and large, a variety of student organizations, experiential learning opportunities like study abroad and undergraduate research, design competitions, internships, co-ops, and more. And if you're not sure exactly what you're looking for, that's okay too. Our programs are designed to give you time to learn more about your options before making choices. So our open house is going to give you a chance to get to know us better, to ask questions, to meet our students and our faculty, to see our facilities. We look forward to sharing our excitement about Virginia Tech engineering with you. Taylor, back to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go over the website. You can find the Engineering Open House website through eng.vt.edu and just click the virtual house link, and it'll take you right to the 2021 page. It'll go over what you will get to see throughout the week, and then you'll have a link to the full schedule with descriptions and a check sheet. So let me show you what those are. The schedule just shows you what is happening every day and what time they are happening. You can print this out if it will help you read over what is going on. It's just one place to have everything that's going on. And then the check sheet is just a way for you to mark what you might want to go to. This looks exactly like the registration, and so it'll just help you match up what you want to take a little bit easier, since this is a long list. And you can find both of those on the front page of the 2021 open house. I will get back to these daily schedules, but I want to show you we have events listed by departments. So if you're interested in aerospace and ocean engineering, you could click there and just see all of the offerings by that department throughout the week. So ocean engineering, the hydroelasticity lab, the wind tunnel, a lot of stuff is going on with aerospace and ocean engineering, so that's great. And we have all the departments listed here. We also have just general College of Engineering offerings through the SEED office, as well as general engineering and the WARE lab, which is for every major. And so I do recommend to check all of this out. And then if you scroll down just a little bit more on the main page, you will find tags. These are broad and just to help you narrow down what you might be interested in. Might help you find something that you didn't know that you might be interested in. So say that you really like robots, you can click on there and see everything that is being presented that has to do with robots. So see high-tech mining engineering. Maybe you weren't thinking about mining engineering, but this may be interesting to you if you're interested in robots, drones, and things like that. So definitely check out all of these presentations if you're interested in robots. And then we'll go back up here and you will see the daily schedules. These are where the videos are going to be posted after the presentation. So all of the presentations are being recorded, and then we're going to post them later because we understand that there may be two things happening at once that you want to attend, and you can only attend one at a time. So you'll be able to go back and watch a recording of the other one. Day one, we're kicking off with the showcase. This booth showcase, if you were here in person, would be a room full of tables that you could check out all of these offerings. So they're all put together on one page. So right now you could go and check out all of these booths, anything that you're interested in. You can just click on the booth and it will have lots of information. A lot of them have videos that you can watch. And then on Monday, March 29th from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, this link will work and it will open a Zoom so that you can chat with the representatives from that booth. So each booth will have that link open from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. So we'll go back to the main page. We'll go to another day just so you can see. It has each of the offerings from that time listed. And you can just check out, see, iPhones, electric vehicles, and renewable energy. Let's check this out. You can read more about it, see who's presenting, and you can also go ahead and just click register now. That'll just bring you up to the general registration for Engineering Open House, and you'll be able to see all the offerings and just choose what you might be interested in. And that's about it. And if you have any questions, just let us know. So we'll bring on our student panel. And first we'll have Anna Card, and she's going to let you know why we put on Engineering Open House.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Taylor, for that website tour and for putting the website together. Looks awesome. My name is Anna Card. I'm a senior here studying material science and engineering. And we just wanted to let you know that we really want this to be useful and exciting and authentic for all of you guys. We've been in your shoes before, and we know that it's probably been really exhausting doing all of this virtually. But basically what we want you to get out of this is an understanding of all the different kinds of engineering that Virginia Tech has to offer, and kind of just an overall view of everything that you would get out of coming to Virginia Tech. So we love it here. That's why we're doing this. We want you guys to get a good perspective on what it's like to be a student here, what opportunities you have with research and extracurriculars and your academics. So we really, really encourage you all to keep an open mind. And please reach out to anybody who talks about something that interests you, whether it's a presenter or a student. Everyone that goes to Virginia Tech or works at Virginia Tech loves to talk about it, and we all love being here. So please just go into this ready to broaden your perspective and just be ready to ask questions and participate, because we all want you to come here and we love it. So with that, we are just going to do a panel of students. We have a couple of students here, and we're just going to be answering your questions. So please put some questions into our YouTube chat, and we'll answer them as best as we can.
Does everyone want to go ahead and introduce themselves, say what major you're in and what year?
Yeah, I can definitely start. My name is Ella Moore, and I am a senior in biological systems engineering with a minor in biomedical engineering and professional technical writing. And I'm from Alexandria, Virginia.
My name is Meghana. I am a junior in computer engineering, focusing in software systems and cybersecurity and networking. And I am from Fairfax, Virginia.
My name is Shelby Plattner. I'm a sophomore in material science and engineering, and I'm from Frederick, Maryland.
And my name's Abby Caslin, and I'm a junior in aerospace engineering, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, I guess I'll start with this one. So one of our questions is, if we visit campus, what are some must-see sites? I'm a giant sports fan, so seeing our football stadium and our basketball arena and all of our sports facilities, I definitely recommend checking that out. The whole campus is gorgeous, but I'll let somebody else share their favorite spot too.
I would definitely check out Goodwin Hall, which is one of the engineering buildings on campus. It's relatively new, super cool inside in the atrium. There's a huge engine. If you haven't been, I would definitely check that out or look pictures up of that, because it's very cool. And you'll have classes in there as a freshman.
One of the questions I see is, do any of you live in an LLC, and if so, which one? I know a lot of us here lived in Hoge Hall our freshman year for the Hypatia in Galileo. Well, Hypatia, we're all women here, but Galileo for the male counterpart. LLC, and that is our engineering living learning community housed in Hoge Hall, which is literally a dorm full of engineering students that comes with a ton of different opportunities and lifelong friends and support. And truly, I cannot speak highly enough about it. It set me up for the rest of my college career. If it's even something you're remotely thinking about, I think I can speak for us all when I'd say we highly recommend applying for Hypatia or Galileo. There's also questions, what is the best thing about Virginia Tech and how did you choose Virginia Tech over other engineering schools? Do we want to each maybe take a stab? Okay, so for me, I think the best thing about Virginia Tech is the community. I'll say it over and over again. Hokies love to help Hokies, and it's a spirit you can really feel from the moment you step onto campus, and that really ties into why I think I chose Virginia Tech. I really wanted to go to an engineering school where I was going to grow academically, professionally, but also personally, and it was really a place where I felt they wanted me to succeed. It wasn't going to be another weed out program. It wasn't something I was going to be fighting with other students over. This is really just a place where everyone wants you to cross that finish line, from the students to the faculty, staff. And I think that's really shown through a lot of the different programs and retention numbers that we have.
I remember the first time I saw Tech, like, you just fall in love with how pretty it is. Hokie Stone is gorgeous, and I just remember falling in love with how the campus looked. And then you get there, and I remember, like, if you were struggling to find somewhere, like, immediately people are like, hey, do you need help? Like, it's such a welcoming environment. And I've noticed always this weird thing is we're so good about just keeping doors open. People will hold the door open for you, even if you're, like, 10, 20 feet away. And that's such a weird thing, but it's such an awesome thing to see around campus because everyone just like wants to help each other out. And it's just so super kind. And I know we were talking about LLC. I've been part of that Hypatia Galileo community for 3 years now. And knowing that an engineering program has steps to keep you supported, and whether it's not through an LLC, we still have a mentoring program. They really do want you to succeed, and they give you every support and every avenue to do so. So that really stood out to me.
The best thing, I definitely would agree, is like the community and the people here, and just like the energy. I know we all sound so cliche saying like you can feel it when you step on campus, but you really can. Like, everyone here just loves to be here. So that's probably my favorite part. But choosing VT over other engineering schools, so I just wanted to go somewhere where I could have like the best of everything. I wouldn't have to sacrifice any of my academics or anything, like to have all my interests, and vice versa. I didn't want to have to sacrifice any of my interests or the things I wanted to get involved in just to have good academics. So Virginia Tech really offers literally everything that I could ever want while I'm still getting an awesome degree and getting a lot of great experience. So just that perfect, beautiful balance of academics and everything else that I want is what made me choose Tech.
I'm going to echo that and what everyone else has been saying about community. I think it's really unique to find a school that has such great academics and such a fantastic engineering program while also having an incredible football experience and basketball and, you know, beautiful campus and collaborative, like they were saying. It's just really, same as Anna was saying, hit home for me in every category. Megan is saying people holding doors open, like literally every door is held open. It's just incredible, and people love to be here. If you haven't heard, we have the #1 food for colleges in the US. So if that doesn't get you, I don't know what else will. Food is prime here. But it's just a fantastic place, fantastic people, and a great engineering program.
I'll just add to that, you know, on top of what everyone said. I was really interested in being an out-of-state student, and I think that I was really able to find my home, you know, outside of North Carolina, right? And Blacksburg has just been an incredible place, and the people and environment here, obviously, in the mountains here are just absolutely awesome. And I wanted to find a place also that I could feel, you know, at home with outside of academics and engineering. So I love Virginia Tech because of those reasons too.
So there's a question about STEP. Did any of you participate in STEP? Okay, I can talk about it a little bit. So, STEP is put on by SEED. SEED is the Center for the Enhancement of Engineering Diversity. And what it is a summer bridge program. And so, for any incoming engineering student, also, I think university studies can participate too. But it's just a way to experience classes at Virginia Tech. And this fall is going to be back in person, and it'll be 5 weeks, the 5 weeks prior to classes starting. So you'll get the first 5 weeks of classes done. And there's 3 different classes, I believe. You get a chemistry class, a math class, and one other class. And you go through the whole class through the first test. You get to take the first test. You see how you did. If you did really great, then great, you're on the right track, and you already have the first 5 weeks of notes, and you'll know exactly what to do your first 5 weeks. You already know the campus, you already know the food, you already know where to go. You're set and good to go, and it doesn't make the start of college as stressful. If you don't do so well, great. You know what to do. It's erased away. It doesn't exist. You can take what you learned. You can improve upon it. You can see what you can do better. And talk to, we have grad students that put it on. We have professors that put it on. Talk to them, see what you can do better. And then you get to take those 5 weeks over again. And so now you have a fresh start, and but you already have a foundation to grow upon. And you already know campus, and you know where to go, and the food. So it is a wonderful program. And I highly recommend it if you are interested. If you are already an accepted student and you're interested in this, we are going to be having a webinar on it, specifically the week of April 5th. So you should have gotten an email about it through undergraduate admissions. But if you didn't, if you just want to email seed@vt.edu, I'll make sure that you get that information.
Were there opportunities for you to participate in faculty research your freshman year? Yes, I actually did. I participated in research my freshman year in a lab, and I absolutely loved it. And then I worked there my freshman year, and I moved on to a different lab my sophomore year that I've been with all 3 years now. And I cannot speak highly enough about getting involved with undergrad research. It's really, I think, one of the best ways possible to apply what you learn in the classroom out of it. And professors here absolutely love to talk to you about their research and get undergrads involved. So it really is as simple as reaching out to a professor and asking them if they're doing research on campus. Chances are they probably are, and they're probably looking for undergrads. It's really just about finding an opportunity that works for both you and the professor, and how much time you have to commit to that. But it's definitely an option, definitely available. Tons and tons of students participate in research here on campus. Have you done travel abroad programs that are fit for engineering students? So I actually have done 2 different study abroad programs for engineering. The first is a program that if you do end up here, you will not hear enough about, and that is our Rising Sophomore Abroad program, which is a program where at the end of your freshman year, for 3 weeks, you get to go on one of different 9 tracks to a multitude of different countries, from Italy to Germany, South Africa, China, you name it. There's a ton of different places you can go, and it's a mix between visiting engineering plants and learning about engineering practices and manufacturing practices in other countries, engineering cultures, as well as also doing the traditional sightseeing of study abroad. So you apply to that in the fall of your freshman year, and if you're accepted, you take a class in the spring, and then at the end of freshman year in May, you get to go on that program. Super fun. And then I also did a program in China for a semester in a summer. That was part of a work study exchange. And that was also a really fun experience. Don't let people tell you engineers can't do study abroad opportunities because that couldn't be farther from the truth. It really just is a matter of planning early and talking to your advisors. But there are tons of different programs I know here at Tech that do full semester exchange or just summer trips. Whatever you're looking for, there definitely is a way to make that work in your schedule if that's something you're interested in.
I also want to add in there is going to be a global engineering opportunities presentation as part of Engineering Open House, and that's going to be on Wednesday, March 31st at 3 p.m. So you can register for that if you're interested in hearing more, and they're going to show you opportunities and what's available when there is not a pandemic going on. And that is put on by Dr. Rob Emmett, and I think that would be a great opportunity. If you can't see it live, of course, we'll post the recording on the website after.
There's a question saying, what are the most interesting projects and clubs you've been a part of? And I think the coolest thing is all of us are probably involved in completely different things all over the place, which is, I think, great. I personally am an officer for SWE, which is the Society of Women Engineers. I think that's a really cool club to be a part of, and I've gotten some really cool opportunities like going to national conferences or just getting to talk to recruiters and different company officials. So that has been really cool. And in regards to projects, I mean, in your engineering classes freshman year, you'll get to do a lot of cool projects, which I think is one of the coolest parts of being a freshman in general engineering. But I remember like my first semester sophomore year, first like class into computer engineering, I got to do a drone project where we each got drones and we got to program it to move in certain ways and then like detect motion, set up motion sensors. That was a really cool project. And they gave us everything to work with. So that was probably like one of my favorite projects. If anyone wants to add to that about their clubs.
For me, it would probably be my research. I'm really like invested in that, and I love that. And then I'm also a part of a social sorority on campus that I really love and have enjoyed my time in. But I think Magana nailed it. Like, we're all involved in other things, and there's over 900 different student clubs and organizations here on campus. So seriously, there's something for everyone.
Make sure you check out the showcase on 3 to 6 p.m. on Monday. There are a lot of clubs, including SWE that Megan mentioned, and it's a great opportunity. There's like rocketry, there is theme park design. So there's a lot of different opportunities that you can find in the showcase, and each booth has contact information. So even if you're not available from 3 to 6 on Monday, you can reach out to them and learn more.
And to add to that, I know when you pulled up the site, I saw like Lightsaber Club. That's actually my freshman roommate's club. Like my freshman roommate, she started that. So like if you're interested in something, like she was in the fifth lab, which is our freshman engineering lab, and she was there playing with 3D printers. And she's like, let me just make a lightsaber for like fun. And now it became a passion project and became a club because she wanted to and other people were interested in it. So you definitely have opportunities to also use engineering to be able to pursue just fun projects and get other people on board with it. And that was all because of the freshman engineering lab. So definitely like, don't worry to take new opportunities as well as check out the existing opportunities.
I have a quick comment about the showcase. I would recommend going and looking up different clubs that mainly fit to your major. If they have a professional society, like for materials science and engineering, there's the Materials Engineering Professional Society. And I knew when I was coming into tech that that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I always made sure to seek them out. And that's actually how I met Anna, because she's in my major as well, and she's an upperclassman. But that definitely helped me get plugged in and learning more about kind of what the major looks like, what classes are involved, what you do with that, and learning a lot more from an upperclassman rather than an advisor. It gives you a different perspective. So I would really recommend looking for professional societies, even if you haven't heard of that major before and you want to learn more about it. Those are definitely great opportunities. I think student-to-student interactions are super important and super helpful. So definitely don't be afraid to go to that showcase.
Okay, there's a question here about how to get to Blacksburg from out of state. I can talk about that one a little bit. I live like 10 hours away from here. I'm from Western New York. So there's a multitude of different ways to get here. I typically will drive or fly. Our public transportation around here is really, really good. And there's a daily, like it's runs multiple times a day to from campus to Roanoke, which is the nearest airport. It's about 45 minutes away. And Roanoke Airport usually connects through Charlotte. So there's all sorts of different flights you can get out of here. But there are also like buses and trains and stuff like that too. But the drive is not that bad. It's a beautiful place. And there's also like a big Virginia Tech student Facebook carpool page. So a lot of times you can find people in there that are going to similar places to you and like have them drop you off along the way. It's another way that students are always looking out for each other. I've done carpools with that a bunch of times, and it's a lifesaver. So there's lots of different options on how to get here. There's another question about how large is a typical class and who teaches it. So typically your freshman year classes are going to be a lot larger just because freshman year you have to take a lot of the same classes as everyone else. But the good thing about that is our math classes are all capped at about like 30 something people. So it's really like, I mean, some of my high school classes were like 30 people. So it's a very good experience. And then for your chemistry and your physics classes, they're all in pretty large lecture halls. There can be a couple hundred people in them, but they each have separate recitations where you're down to a group of like 20 or 30. And then you're with a TA during that recitation and you can ask them questions. But the lectures are taught by professors. And a pro tip, even if you don't like getting up early, if you sign up for the 8 a.m. for those classes, they're usually almost empty anyway. So it feels like you're in a smaller class. You know, only sign up for it if you're going to go though, because then it'll just backfire. But if anybody else wants to step in on that one, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd also piggyback off of that, as you move up from freshman year, the size of your classes also is going to be dependent on your major. So mechanical engineering is our largest engineering major here on campus. And so those classes are going to be a little bit bigger than, say, ocean engineering that only has 8 students in it. So while all of the classes are reasonable, it definitely also does depend on the size of the department. But I've never had any issues accessing professor or TA or help or anything like that.
To piggyback off of that, someone just asked like how accessible are the professors? I would say every professor has office hours, usually multiple times a week, to give people the opportunity, if they can't come one day, to come another day. And so they make themselves available, and a lot of them say they can also make appointments. So let's say you have a question, you can send them saying, hey, can I meet with you on a one-on-one basis and help answer that? Or you can send an email and they'll respond to the email with a response to your question. And I know personally in most of my classes, we have a thing called Piazza on Canvas, where you can just input a question into Canvas, which is where all our assignments are and all that stuff. It's our platform. You can put in questions into this, and professor can answer automatically, and you can see everyone else's questions as well, giving you access. And within 48 hours, they usually have a response to your question. So super accessible. And I personally love going to TAs. Because I feel like there's less pressure, because I'm someone that gets nervous around professors. So all TAs also have office hours. So you could just go talk to a TA who's another student who's already taken the class. And usually most classes have at least one TA, but multiple TAs usually who have multiple office hours. So you have a lot of opportunity to go in person and ask questions.
And there's no shame in asking for help either. That I know for a lot of people, when you get your freshman year, it's like, oh no, I did so good in high school, I don't want to ask questions. I used to be like that, and now I just am asking my professors things all the time, like asking my TAs things all the time, because what's the point if you're not confident in what you're learning or whatever? Like, all these people exist like as resources in your bubble to help you out. So definitely worth it, and not worth beating yourself up if you don't understand something. Just ask someone.
There's a question. Would you say the workload consists more of like labs and projects or hands-on stuff? I would say, or even just abstract, I would say it totally depends on the major, on the class. I'm personally in computer engineering, so I do a lot more software stuff because that's where my focus is. But I've also gotten to do a lot of hardware stuff where I get to do hands-on things, and other times I'm just sitting at my computer coding and doing a lot of projects. So it really just depends on the class. I think every major does a really good job of being very well-rounded, that they're giving you a little taste of everything that the major can offer. and then giving you the opportunity to focus and really hone in on the part that you really enjoy. So during that part, I think you will get to do very abstract concepts, but also do project-based classes or hands-on labs. And after that, as you kind of figure out what you really want to do and you hone in on that, that can change based on what your interest is.
Yeah, totally piggybacking off of that. So I'm biological systems engineering, and I know MSc as well, that Anna and Shelby in are all like very like lab based, like hands-on classes. So I'd say I like, at least myself personally, I have a pretty good 50-50 split of like pen and paper stuff and then like lab reports and like actual experimentation. But again, it's just really all about what you're interested in, and your major is really going to reflect like what type of coursework that you have. But yeah, another thing is you have a year at Virginia Tech to decide what really interests you, whether it is more like theoretical stuff or hands-on. But each major is a pretty good mix of both.
And if you are undecided, don't be discouraged. You'd be surprised, a huge majority of engineers coming into Virginia Tech are undecided or choosing between a couple majors that they're interested in. So don't feel like you have to have your whole life figured out. That's what I think was honestly one of the biggest appeals coming to Virginia Tech for engineering, is you have a year to decide, and they do a good job of informing you about every single opportunity in every single major. And you'll get to be surrounded by so many upperclassmen that are happy to answer your questions about these majors. So you have time to figure it out. And even then, there's so much opportunity to move around based on what your interests are. And that's never discouraged.
You guys have a great opportunity now to go to these different info sessions and learn about these different organizations. So you already have a heads up on your peers, but you definitely have time to decide.
Someone had asked about any tips for the application process. And while I want to make it very well known, we are not VT admissions here at all. But I know that the number one thing that they always are preaching at events like this is just to be yourself and as authentic as you possibly can. You can never go wrong with that, as long as you're being genuine and expressing why you want to be here and what led you up to this point. You can't really go wrong with that. So that'd be my number one advice to those who are starting about or thinking about starting the application process.
And please remember, there's no perfect student. I think that we think, oh, you need a certain GPA to get in, or you need this. There is no perfect student. All they really care about here is, do you, will you fit in? Do you think that they could succeed here? Do you think this will be a challenge for them? They consider all those factors. Don't ever not apply because you're like, I can't get in based on this GPA or based on my extracurriculars. That doesn't exist. Just give yourself an opportunity, be yourself, be authentic. You don't have to compare with anyone else. Just speak your honest truth or how you were in a situation. But just remember, don't compare yourself to other people, because that doesn't really exist as much as we think it does in the admission process.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And kind of jumping off that, somebody asked the question if any of us had a hard time fitting in or if it's hard to fit in. I think whenever you go to a new place and you're with a bunch of people you don't know, you're going to have that kind of intimidation. But everyone here is excited to be here, like I said, and people here are really welcoming. And one of the best ways to overcome that like nervousness and make friends is to leave your dorm room door open. That is like number one tip. I left my door open all the time, and it was just like I became friends with all these people in my hall. Two of the people that I'm rooming with right now I actually met like in the same hallway that I lived on freshman year. So it can be hard to fit in anywhere you go, but just like being open to making new friends and also getting involved with clubs, I think are the two best ways to fit in. Since we have all these clubs, you are bound to find something that like is something that you're passionate about, and bonding with those people that share passions with you is really, really awesome and a good way to make friends, like even outside of engineering too. So two tips I would say: join clubs and leave your dorm room door open.
Yeah, and I'm an RA, so I talk to freshmen. Some people fit in right away, right? They already have high school friends or they come in, and others struggle to do that. And honestly, the biggest thing I can recognize is this school is on the larger side. I think a lot of us come from a high school mindset where it's like, oh, this is a group of people that we're going to be with years. And you will make those friends that'll kind of be lifelong friends, but there are like 20,000 people here that you can talk to. So what I would say is, like, if you don't find your people right away, maybe you don't meet them, maybe you haven't met them, but just be patient, because there are your people out there. And if you feel like this is not the right fit for you, then there's others who you deserve to be around and who are deserving of your friendship. Just be patient. You'll find those people and get involved as much as you can with clubs. I know we talked a lot about engineering stuff, but anything you could think of, there is a club or an organization for. I know people who are on the ultra marathon team because they like running a lot, or the forestry thing, even though they're in engineering. Chocolate milk club, where you literally just get to go drink chocolate milk with people at like D2, one of our dining halls, because they love the chocolate milk there. So, and one of my friends is in a squirrel watching club. There's literally a million things you could be involved in based on your interest, or even just such silly things. You will find your people, and don't ever be discouraged by that.
I do want to mention two opportunities to find clubs. One is for if you're part of Galopecia and our Seed Peer Mentoring Program, we put on this Osho specifically for those programs. And that is an opportunity to find engineering student organizations and design teams that you can become a part of. And that happens before classes start. So that's something that you can check out right away. And then I think usually a week or two is Gobbler Fest, week or two, and it's held on the drill field, which is behind me on my background. And it is like almost a carnival atmosphere. Like when I was in school 100 years ago, it was a lot smaller, and now it's grown. And you can check out all of these organizations across the university, and you can ride a Ferris wheel and do one of those like anti-gravity machines, I think. So it's such an exciting time. And I mean, you can meet people just by waiting in line to talk to somebody in club. So it is a great opportunity and is so much fun too. And usually there's the Hokey Bird, and it's just a great time.
I want to talk a little bit about workload. Engineering is difficult. It is a lot of work. Taking classes in high school that help prepare you for that is super helpful. I've definitely found taking those APs and dual enrollments and whatever your school offers, participating in STEP if you're a little more worried about that transition. But it's definitely a lot of work. And one of the great things I know we mentioned earlier was living with people that also have to do that work. So it's a lot easier to be like, okay, I need to go to my room and I need to go get this stuff done. So living in Hypatia or Galileo is definitely a way to increase those interactions with people who understand the grind that you need to get your work done. I also don't want to scare you, and there's plenty of ways to have fun and have downtime, and it's how productive you are, it's how you spend your time, but it's definitely a lot of work, but there's programs to help you. In Hypatia, there's mentoring, and also in SEED, which is what we're all a part of, the Center for the Enhancement of Engineering Diversity, that there's a mentoring program with that, where for the first 10 weeks of the fall semester as a freshman, you still get that. You'll be in a group and you'll have a mentor, and they'll help walk you through that transition to college, help you with classes, help you kind of find clubs, and hold your hand as you enter those first 10 weeks. So that's a part of the Hypatia Galileo program. But if you don't want to live in Hogue and still have that mentoring, that's an option as well. And there's definitely info sessions about SEED and Hypatia and Galileo. So definitely check those out.
Absolutely. And I would like to add on to the mentorship thing. Never underestimate the power of having a mentor ever. I really did not think I would need a mentor. I was like, okay, whatever, like this would be cool, but I don't need anything. My mentor helped me out so much. She taught me how to use the buses. I would have gotten lost and not known what to do if it weren't for her. Like, it is great. I encourage everybody to take any opportunity they can to have a mentor throughout your time as a student, even as a professional. It's, I think, an underrated thing to get into. So any mentorship opportunities you have, take them, because you need somebody to teach you how to do stuff you don't even think about yet.
There's a question about co-oping for aero engineering. Someone else can answer that if they would like. But I was just going to talk real quick. Sorry, Abby. I was going to talk real quick about different career fairs that we have at Tech. And in the fall, there's Expo, the Engineering Expo, and lots of different companies come to talk to Tech students for internships, for jobs after graduation. So that's definitely something that happens in the fall. Throughout the year, there's some different events. Like Tech will put on a career fair called Cameo. There's lots of different career fairs, and that's definitely something that we think is very important in engineering, to have that job experience, real world experience with an internship or co-op. Advisors will definitely recommend that you take those opportunities because they can teach you so much more different ways, different things that you can't really learn in a classroom. So that is definitely something that is important at Tech, and that advisors and going to these career fairs and stuff will help you achieve those.
Yeah, since I'm, in the aerospace department, I can kind of talk a little bit about this. I will say that typically the most common companies that aerospace engineering students will want to work for is Lockheed Martin, NASA, Boeing. But I will say that there are a lot of, there's a lot of big manufacturing companies, and then there's a lot of different type of government research programs that you can go into that also are really, really great for internships and co-ops. So internships are going to be more of those just the summer, probably for 10 to 12 weeks. And then co-ops are going to be either summer through your fall semester or spring through your summer semester. And so I did 2 internships with Lockheed Martin, and it was awesome, great company, but that's just an example. And, the list goes on because, engineering is really multidisciplinary. You do need a lot of different types of engineers to get a project done. And so that's what's really great is you really get to see the overlap at those career fairs that Shelby was talking about, and kind of see where you can fit into the bigger equation.
So someone asked a question about the course load and like credits. You can actually view every check sheet if you want to for every different type of engineering. If you look it up, it's a little overwhelming. If you don't want to get into that, don't worry about it. But most people take about like 15 to 18 credits per semester. You can take more than that if you want. If you want to go really high, you have to get things approved by like the honor court, or not honor court, something, I don't know. But I would recommend trying to stay 18 or lower, just because it's really hard if you spread yourself too thin. And when you're taking difficult classes, you want to be able to give it your all. So speaking from experience, I would say try and keep yourself at 18 or under so that you can still enjoy your life and like be healthy. But typically, if you have questions about any of that stuff, any upperclassman in your department will help you, or your advisor. But if anybody really wants to look ahead to the future, you can just Google like Virginia Tech engineering check sheets, and you can see that there's kind of already a plan in place for you that doesn't go over 18 credits a semester. So you're in good hands.
There's a question, how do you like the dorms? This is my 3rd year living the dorms, and I'm about to make it a 4th. So the only lifestyle I've kind of known is the dorms. I personally never felt like it was too small. I think the rooms are pretty big here, and the dorms are overall pretty nice. Every dorm is completely different, so I guess I can't compare. I personally only lived in Hogue Hall, which is our Hypatia Galileo living learning community, but I've never felt like there was not enough space. And I think dorms, the best part is the community that you're able to build, right? You have all these people all around you. You're never bored because there's always someone who might have a door open. I know when people are trying to make friends, or their floor might be more quiet, they just take a tour around the building. They just walk every floor and just say hi to every open door. Where else are you going to be able to have access to like 800 people at once, all with different interests, all with different backgrounds? I think it's just such a community that you're able to build. And overall, I know people complain about AC or communal showers. Never had really an issue with that. People are pretty respectful, and a box fan will take you a long way if you are in a non-AC building. So I promise it's not that bad, especially compared to other school stories that I've heard.
I do want to mention that in the booth showcase, housing will be there. So if you have any questions about housing, you can check out that booth and chat with them on Monday. And also on this YouTube page, we have a Hogue Hall tour. So it's not very long if you want to check it out. It's on our main VT Seed YouTube page. It's the first video and you can just watch it. They just made it this past year, so it's brand new, and you should definitely check it out.
Also, most of our dorms have sinks, which is underrated because then you don't have to go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, or wash your face, or anything like that. So even though we have to share bathrooms, a lot of us will have our own sinks, which is a blessing.
Yes, I was also going to say living in a dorm freshman year is something you have to experience, but if you don't love it, I didn't love it. Lots of people live off campus after their freshman year. There's lots of apartments and townhomes in the Blacksburg area. So if dorm life isn't for you, that is okay. There are other options, but you have to live in a dorm your freshman year. It just has to happen.
Did anyone transfer into engineering? Because they're asking if we did, or is it difficult if they're kind of confused about engineering?
So no, I didn't transfer, but I worked a lot with the transfer students my freshman year, so I know a lot about the process. I will say, if you're on the fence about engineering, my only advice would be it's much easier to start in engineering and transfer out if it's not for you than it is the other way around. It's not impossible. That's not what I'm saying at all. But basically what happens is, at least at Virginia Tech, there's a set of 8 classes that you need to complete before you can fill out your transfer application. And those include your calculus classes, physics, chemistry, English, and then foundations of engineering, both semesters. And while most students are able to complete the physics and the chemistry and the math, those foundations of engineering classes are restricted for engineering majors. And they're capped, so it's a lot harder to get into those classes that you need in order to apply. So usually that does mean having to take summer classes or J-term. So definitely not impossible, but if you're on the fence, I would really recommend starting out in engineering and seeing how you go from there.
I also know STEP has been a pathway for that. So let's say like you didn't choose it, but you really wanted, maybe this is for you, but didn't end up getting here through engineering. So I know people that went to STEP, went through that program, realized, okay, engineering is for me. That's what I want to keep pursuing. And that gave them a little more accessibility because it was happening before school started. So that's also a great way to test out the engineering waters and be like, okay, that's what I want to do. And then you can usually transfer in a little easier than during the year. But I definitely agree that you should, if you were on the fence of like, I think I want to do that, it's better to just go into it first and then switch out rather than switch in.
Someone asked, for those of us living off campus, do we stay on campus between classes or go home? And then are our apartments/condos social? So this is also a big tip, I would say. I try to stay on campus between classes and do work in that time. A lot of times, if you're on campus, most people that are in the same classes as you are also on campus. So it's kind of a nice like grind time. If you have like an hour and 15 minutes between classes or something, you can just sit and do homework or get lunch or something with people that are in your major. That's like a good time management hack, is just to try and stay on campus and stay in that like academic zone. If you want to get your work done, that's my strategy, so that I can get as much done on campus before I go home. I would say the apartment that I live in is pretty social. I mean, it's hard when like everybody's kind of in their own apartments. It's not the same kind of setup as a dorm, but everyone around here in the community is really friendly. People are always like outside walking their dogs or, exercising or playing spike ball. So it's a little bit different than on campus just because there aren't as many like recreational spaces or events where you're going to run into people like at your apartment, but definitely still a social, fun place.
I will also say, not that you guys need to be reminded this, but it's not a normal year. So we are, or at least I have not spent really any time at all on campus. A normal year would be basically like 9 a.m. to 6 or 7, just because I lived in the library. That was the best place for me to do my work. So I will say, even though most students live off campus after their freshman year, there's still a huge presence of off-campus students on campus during a normal year. I think it speaks to the fact that most commuter students have dining plans. Like you'll find the dining hall is even always packed. You'll find students in study spaces all over campus. So there's definitely not a narrative that like it's literally only freshmen on campus. That's couldn't be further from the truth. But yeah. Ooh, best places to chill and hang out. Okay. So I'm going to say 2 on campus and then 2 off campus in the Blacksburg community. So unpopular opinion probably, but Johnson Student Center has an upstairs that there's a subway underneath. So some people don't like it because they say it smells like bread, but I absolutely love it. And it's like full of windows. It's like one of my favorite places to study. And then the second would be if it's a nice day out, I love doing my work at the pylons. If you can get a spot, it's this beautiful spot that overlooks the drill field. So on a nice day, I don't think you can beat it. And then off campus, there's a place called McLean's. That's a bowling alley, arcade, and movie theater in one. And I've had like so many fun memories there with friends, and I think it's just a really great spot. And there's also a hike in the area that's not too far called the Cascades that rain, shine, any season is gorgeous. I think I've done that hike more times than I can count, but there's tons of opportunities like that in the area, by the way. If that's something you're interested in, Appalachia is a gorgeous place to be. So for me, that would be my answer.
To add to that on campus, I know we call it the Prairie Quad. It's pretty much this like area between a bunch of buildings, and there they have basketball courts, volleyball courts, they have a fitness park. And what I love is on a nice day, it looks like a brochure because there's so many people out there. There's tons of people playing basketball. The volleyball courts are full, and you see hammocks everywhere. Everyone is just with their friends hammocking by every tree in this area, and there's a field, so you see people throwing frisbees, hanging out with their friends. There's grills, people are barbecuing. It's just literally one lawn area with all this stuff, and that's honestly, I think, such a nice place on a nice day. Just sit and just watch or just be hanging out with friends there. Or we have actually a break zone, which I think is a lot of people love hanging out there. It's in our Squire Student Center, and it's pretty much you can play pool. There's ping pong tables. There's a bowling alley, and with your student card, it's pretty cheap, honestly, I think, and you can pay with your Hokey which is your student ID. You can whatever money you load for laundry money, you can use it to do bowling, which I think is a really cool thing. So that's also a really fun place to just hang out with friends on campus.
Another thing, I know somebody mentioned hammocks already, but if anybody is interested in hanging out outside, definitely we all recommend getting an Eno hammock. So there's a really nice place on campus called the Han Horticulture Garden, and they have like Eno racks that you can you and 2 of your friends can set your Eno in. And another pro tip from me is if you want, there's one that's really close to the baseball stadium, so you can just drag it over, and then you can set up 3 hammocks and look right at the baseball stadium and just like be chilling in your hammock watching a baseball game. You can bring like snacks and stuff because you're not really supposed to bring snacks into the game. But if you set up your hammock and you just chill there watching baseball, that's like the perfect place. So I'm glad I'm telling you guys this now since I won't be here next year. So I can't get mad at you for taking my spot.
So I'll answer about VT allowing campus visits. So you are more than welcome to come to campus. There are self-guided tours and driving tours. If you go to the visitor center on Price's Fork, there's this QR code when you go in, and you can scan it, and it'll show you around campus. I believe in-person tours and things like that will be starting up towards the end of the summer, and definitely in the fall. I believe more stuff is going to be opening up. If you have any questions about specific engineering type places, feel free to email me seed@vt.edu, and I can definitely give you recommendations and videos to help give you more information on what to look at. But I definitely recommend, if you can, waiting just a little bit longer, and then you'll be able to experience a lot more.
with the money question, we promise there's a million things because it's like, is there money involved to do stuff? There's a million things you could do for free, especially in our area. Like Ella mentioned, you can hike, which is one of the most popular things that people do. We have tons of trails to just go running, go walking, hang out with friends. There's so many cool places to just go do stuff. But also, if you're interested in doing things like bowling or more recreational stuff that involves a facility, then yeah, you might have to pay for it. But overall, I think that you can do a million things in Blacksburg just for free, especially with the views that we have. I personally have a favorite spot, which is like this golf course slightly off campus. And you go up there when no one's golfing, you can see all of Blacksburg. It's one of my favorite spots. And I just go, like, me and my friend will go off campus, get food, and then eat it there. Just on the golf course looking at the view. So there's so many cool things that you could be doing.
All right. Someone asked a question. Please tell us how many students are in your course classes and about registering for a student once you're on campus. So like we kind of mentioned earlier, the sizes of your classes are really going to depend on what the class is and your course of study and year. So your freshman year chemistry class is definitely going to be your largest class, which is usually around 250 students. But then there are why am I blanking on the word? Recitation. I'm so sorry. Recitation that break up into smaller groups of like 20 or 30, like Anna was mentioning. And then their math classes are usually going to be around 30 to 40. Same with your foundations of engineering classes. And then your core classes from there on really depend. I think sophomore year on, my largest classes would probably be, again, my organic chemistry classes. Those tend to get up into the 250 plus range, but that's the largest class size you're going to see. And then as well, like my senior design class right now is only like 30 students. So really just depends. And then as far as registration goes, I've never had any issues getting any of my engineering classes that you need. The department knows how many students they have for each year. They know how many they're expecting, and they make the accommodations for that. So it's not like a fight to get classes that you need for graduation. Of course, there are electives that are more popular than others that you might have to wait a semester or more for, but registration is a very easy process.
So, best time to take a self-guided tour, I would recommend, I mean, at this point, since it's a pandemic, there's not as many people around campus. You don't have to worry about class change as much. So if you come during the week or if you come on the weekend, just try and pick a gorgeous day where it's super sunny, because especially things are just starting to bloom. It's blooming a little late this year, but campus is gorgeous any time of year, but especially in the spring when there's just flowers everywhere. And if you see behind me, that looks like summer. So everything's green in the summer. Just pick a gorgeous day and it'll be fine. And you don't have to get an appointment or anything. Just show up. Just be sure to get information on parking, because you will have to purchase a parking pass to park on campus, and just kind of watch where the signs are for parking. But if you go to the visitor center, they have all that information for you so that you don't have to guess. It'll explain it just exactly for you. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap this up. I'm so glad you all were able to join us, and you asked some great questions, and we're really looking forward to all of our presentations next week, and I hope that you get a lot out of next week. And if you have any questions, as I've mentioned before, feel free to email seed@vt.edu. That's CEED @vt.edu, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.